Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sleeper Hold, where there are no disqualifications on the topics and falls count anywhere. I am one co-host of yours, the analyst Robert Leach, and I am being joined tonight, as always, by the Kluganator.
Hello.
And the insider, Eric Zeidler. Welcome to 2019. Welcome to a new season of the Sleeper Hold. But unfortunately, we started all off with a little bit of bad news. Yesterday morning, it was announced by WWE that Mean Gene Okerlund has passed away at the age of 76.
Who is undoubtedly one of the best backstage interviewers of all time.
He's got one of the greatest voices ever heard on the WWF and WWE microphone.
Also the voice of WWE's Storytime.
Yes.
Yep.
He was on, if anyone even remembers what Legends House was on the network.
The whole one season of it.
Yeah, the entire season. Anyway, so he was really an amazing guy, and as an announcer myself, I heavily looked up to Mean Gene, and I always will. His interviews with guys like Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, they were always some of the greatest content you'll ever see from those three men. And even more so, kind of like with stuff with Andre the Giant as well. Mean Gene was always just a fantastic voice to be heard when you sit down and watch some wrestling. And even today when you watch the WWE Network, not sponsored by the way.
$9.99 a month.
$9.99 a month. Anyway, so, you know, I was sitting in the car waiting for my aunt to get out of her doctor appointment when I heard about it, and I was just surfing the web looking at news and stuff, and it just popped up at the top of my screen. I said, like, I'll be honest, I kind of got a tear in my eye, because I was like, dude, you wouldn't expect that. And it was only the second day of 2019, too, so either way, Mean Gene, he was a great guy, and he will never be forgotten in professional wrestling. I can tell you that much. Anyway, any words from you both?
You know, what's your favorite Mean Gene moment?
My favorite? Oh man, I have two I'd like to share. The first one, now, Robbie, I know you're not old enough to remember this, but it is on the WWE Network. His trainings, cheap plug. Anyway, his training segments, because you know he was a tag partner for one match with Hulk Hogan. The series of vignettes of him training with Hogan.
Yeah, they faced what was it, Mr. Fuji and George the Animal Steel.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Another one. This was a backstage WrestleMania interview that he was doing with Andre the Giant, and Andre the Giant just mid-interview just went like this.
Yep.
And his whole hand just like palmed Gene's face. That was kind of cool.
Almost looked like Andre was holding a baseball there.
Pretty much.
I think mine would be Bash at the Beach when he confronted the now formed NWO right there in the middle of the ring while people are throwing a bunch of crap into the ring.
Yeah, you brought that one up earlier, and I have to admit that's probably one of my favorites too. Along with the many, 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 many times that he spoke with Hulk Hogan backstage, you know. Just iconic moments in professional wrestling.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Everybody has a Hogan impression.
Yes. Either way, he was a fantastic voice in professional wrestling, and he'll always be remembered, at least by some of the older fans and myself being an announcer. Anyway, let's get on with what happened this week in professional wrestling. First off, with Monday Night Raw this week, I've got a few points to share with everyone. So first off, we saw Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler in the steel cage.
I gotta admit, it was very nice seeing them open the show with an actual match. A steel cage match, nonetheless.
Yeah, you usually don't see the steel cage match unless it's the main event.
Right.
Because that last time we saw a steel cage match was the main event, Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, I think. But either way, you know, it was great to see it opened with a match in itself plus a steel cage match. And it's great to see Drew McIntyre win because it's not quite that time to give out predictions yet, but my prediction for the Royal Rumble this year is Drew McIntyre, and it has been for about a month now.
Mine's not.
Mine's not either, but I'll share mine later.
We'll discuss those off air. And see if anyone's on the same page.
Anyway, we also had Apollo Crews won a #1 Contenders Battle Royal, where he would earn a shot that night against Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. And I love that Dean Ambrose is giving these opportunities to younger guys, newer guys that want to prove themselves, and they definitely are against Dean Ambrose.
You know, and I think with Apollo Crews, I think WWE's kind of missed the boat with him.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, when he was, before he came to the WWE, he was, you know, well regarded on the indie circuit, you know, worked a lot of the bigger named companies like PWG and yeah, and now they just he's like kind of like an afterthought almost, and it's sad.
I mean, I think they pushed him up to the main roster way too soon.
Yeah.
They should have kept him in NXT for at least a few more months than they did, because they only kept him in there for 3 months or something like that. Maybe a bit longer.
I think a bit longer. I think it may have had him there a year at the most.
I don't remember that much. I didn't really pay attention to NXT all that much at that point. Either way, you know, Apollo Crews can put on a good match.
Yes,
and
can.
He proves that all the time, but I think WWE really need to notice that.
Yeah.
And then finally, the main event of Raw was the women's tag team match. Women's champion Ronda Rousey and Natalya defeated Nia Jax and Tamina. And I think Ronda Rousey's on a hot streak going toward the Royal Rumble and then going toward WrestleMania. I think Ronda Rousey wants to retain her title forever, basically. She wants to be the longest reigning women's champion of all time.
It could happen. I mean, do I see it happening? Probably not. I think somebody will take the title from her before then, but that's neither here nor there.
It's just going to be interesting to see who wins the Women's Rumble.
Yeah.
And what happens with both women's titles at the Royal Rumble event.
Yeah. Because, I'll wait.
Alright. You're going to wait? We'll wait on
Prediction
that.
panel coming soon. Stay tuned to this channel.
Anyway, the next night, of course, New Year's Day was SmackDown Live. And they put on a good show, too. John Cena returned. He said, listen, I want a man to come out of that curtain, and I want a reason to be here tonight. Well, the man came out of that curtain.
Not just any man.
The man. That's right. And Becky Lynch said, all right, Cena, well, I could probably prove my worth to you. To be honest.
She stung him good.
Oh, yeah. She brought up Nikki Bella, and it was... John Cena actually had brought up Nikki Bella his damn self.
No, it was Becky.
I do remember John Cena saying something about... I can't remember what the hell he said. It's all a blur. Anyway, ended up being Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega came out. And Cena was like, you're here. We're here. Let's have a match. And Becky Lynch and John Cena defeated Andrade Almas and Zelina Vega. But only after Becky Lynch, dumped John Cena out of the ring.
Yeah.
And said, this win is mine.
And just, to add a little extra fire to that burn, she hit him with the.
That's right. John Cena went for the handshake and Becky Lynch said, nah, you can't see me. And that was that.
Yeah.
And then you had the main event. which it was great to see in another main event, this time for an opportunity at a championship. Mustafa Ali, a former wide competitor in Central Illinois. As he was in this 5-way match with Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and your eventual winner, AJ Styles. And I don't like that.
I love it.
I'll be honest, I'm tired of seeing AJ Styles. I'm tired of seeing him get title shot after title shot.
Wonder what other superstar that sounds like. Oh, sorry.
You know, I could handle watching. I like AJ Styles so much. I could handle him watching him wrestle the shark from Jaws.
I mean, everyone has their opinion on AJ Styles, but I'm just AJ Styles has been in that limelight now for like 2.5 years, and I think it's time to hand it over to someone else finally, because AJ Styles has been in main events on SmackDown for God knows how long. And I think we need to hand it to another person. It doesn't even have to be a young, up-and-coming star. Someone else who deserves it. I don't know. I'd like to see Daniel Bryan and Rey Mysterio, to be honest with you.
That would be a good match.
Either way, AJ Styles is going to the Royal Rumble to take on Daniel Bryan, and I don't think Daniel Bryan is going to be defeated.
Especially if the ref gets distracted again.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, we're going to move on now to the insider Eric Zeidler, who has some things to talk about, not only with New Japan, not only with Ring of Honor, but even the newly announced All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, well, first announcement of 2009, the very first announcement of 2019 as it happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was still awake for that. Anyway, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and Hangman Page, they announced their new company, All Elite Wrestling. Mm-hmm. It is being backed by Tony Khan, which is one of the co-owners of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Actually, you know, they have roots to this area, too.
That's right.
Yep. His dad's actually, I think it's from Bloomington.
That's cool.
Yeah. A little kind of interesting tidbit. They've actually announced the first signees for the company. And, of course, it's the Young Bucks, Adam Page, Cody, Brandy, and...
Yeah, didn't the Young Bucks have like a post up on Twitter or something saying they were free agents for like 15 hours?
12 hours.
12 hours.
12 hours. It was the longest 12 hours of their life. But, yeah. A new signee, which was, I think it was just announced Wednesday morning, was Dr. Britt Baker.
It's very cool. Very cool.
Yes. Now, for this new company, Cody Rhodes will assume the responsibilities as his executive producer and executive vice president alongside the Young Bucks. They're also executive vice presidents. Brandy Rhodes is going to serve as chief brand officer.
Chief brand officer.
Brandy officer. And of course, Tony Khan will serve as president of the company. They are having next Tuesday a rally, coincidentally enough, not very far from the venue where they're having SmackDown Live.
Ooh. I think that was planned.
Yeah. Well, coincidental, the Jaguars Stadium is not that far from the venue where they're having SmackDown. It's like...
I'm just saying the timing.
Right, the timing. It's not too obvious.
It's like when WCW debuted Nitro on a night that Raw was preempted by the damn U.S. Open.
You know what? I don't miss those days. I like to get my wrestling uninterrupted, same time, every day. Now, I've heard there are rumors going around that one of the TV... Now, Jason, you probably you probably get appreciation out of this. One of the TV stations they are negotiating with is TBS/TNT Time Warner.
Oh, after Time Warner pretty much killed WCW, they're trying to get another wrestling company back
I'm
on.
okay with it.
That's funny.
I'm okay with it as long as it airs at 6:05 or 7:05. Nod to the old WCW days. That's the time slots. Everything on TBS, it runs.
Not at 3 minutes before 7 o'clock.
Right.
And give away all the cards from WWE.
So we could be witnessing the next Monday night. Well, technically not Monday Night Wars, but maybe Tuesday Night Wars.
Tuesday Night Wars. There you go.
Yep.
Hell, it's not hard to have a war with WWE these days. They have a show every single damn day.
Right. Well, no, there's a couple. No, yeah, there's a couple nights where there's no WWE wrestling. That's Thursday and Friday. Literally, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That's it.
Well, they got to give their performers some time off.
House shows.
Watch them do it on Thursdays.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sleeper Hold.
So, and also tonight is the eve of Wrestle Kingdom 13. It's actually going to be airing live at 2 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time, 3 a.m. on the East Coast.
That's tonight, you said? Or?
Well, technically tomorrow morning, but yeah.
In a few hours.
In a few hours.
Right.
From now.
That's what I meant. I will be in bed because I have to work.
As do I, but I will be up live to watch it live. It's going to make for a long day.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but at least you have a desk job.
Sure, fair enough. I'll give you that one. Now, if you want to watch it, you don't want to get up at 2 in the morning, Access TV. They're offered through multiple cable outlets. They are going to be airing later on that evening, same day, about 7 o'clock Central. They will be airing a 2-hour special for Wrestle Kingdom. Now, if I was a betting man, the matches I think they would show would be, because just about every match on the card is a title match, except with the exception of a few. I think they would probably do the main matches. Chris Jericho versus Naito, which was just announced today also, that it was made a no disqualification match after at the contract signing Chris Jericho decided to powerbomb Naito through the table. Kenny Omega and Tanahashi is because it's the main event, it's for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Cody Rhodes versus Juice Robinson for the IWGP United States title. And if I was to go one more, it'd be the Okada Jay White match, I think. But later on in the year, they're going to break up the whole show into individual episodes because every Friday night on Access, they broadcast New Japan.
Yep.
And all the matches on the card, I'm really looking forward to most is Jericho Naito.
Definitely. It sounds like it'll be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
Is that it?
That's
you got anything else?
Yeah.
No?
I think we should switch to the local scene.
Now, local scene. We're going local, baby. Coming up, we've got some great things happening in this area. Pro Wrestling Force on February 17th at Riverton High School, I think now. It's the second show, Lighting the Fuse.
From Boondocks to
Boondocks
Riverton
double
Middle
booked
School.
that night and said, hey guys, we're going with these other guys. Riverton, here we come, said Pro Wrestling Force. Riverton High School will host Pro Wrestling Force Lighting the Fuse, where we will see the semifinals of the Pure Wrestling Championship tournament unfold, where in that round we will be seeing Logan James versus Aaron Williams in the first match, and the second match of round 2 will be Ace Perry, that was his name. Ace Perry versus Jake Lander, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, and it will be great. The finals. That one's hard to predict for me. I think the finals will come down to Logan James versus Jake Lander.
It'd be an awesome match.
That's right. It would be.
I'd have to, I guess, give the win to Lander. It would be my pick to be the new pure champion.
Oh, definitely. I think Jake Lander could have that in the bag.
Take a quick moment here to send a shout out to Dominic, who's watching us.
What's up,
Hey,
Dominic?
Dominic?
Dominic from Dominic's Wrestling Show. Give him a subscribe. Anyway, we'll also be seeing a couple special guests to Pro Wrestling Force. Evil will be there as he will be taking on Jake something. And Daga will be there as he takes on Myron Reed. We'll also be seeing tag team action as The Dirty take on Lotus. Women's tag team action as Tootie Lynn Ramsey and Savannah Stone will be taking on Sophie King and Jody Threat from Canada. And also, the 6-man tag team match that was set up at the last show. Alonzo, Matt Kenway, and Kevin Giza all aligned themselves. Kevin Giza turned on his tag team partner, Adam Slade. And now the 6-man tag has been set up. It's Alonzo, Kenway, and Giza taking on Adam Slade, Gary J, and Michael Elgin.
Assuming Elgin's in condition to compete.
There's got to be a reason that Elgin okayed the announcement of this match.
Well, card is always subject to change.
Card is subject
we know
to
what happened in
change.
Springfield.
Oh, yeah. Either way, it looks like it's going to be an amazing match card. I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like this show, card-wise, will be a lot better than the last one, just because we know more about these guys now.
Yeah, I gotta say, at the last show, I was very impressed with Lotus.
Lotus are fantastic in the ring. So is, I can tell you, Matt Kenway's pretty good in there. So is Kevin Giza, Adam Slade, no need to say Michael Elgin, Gary J. Ace Perry is amazing. Jake Lander, as we all know, is great, and everyone else on that card are fantastic in the ring. And it's definitely going to be a show that you won't want to miss. February 17th at Riverton High School.
Speaking of Lander,
Speaking of Jake Lander,
Yeah.
isn't he a champion? Some sort of champion
I think so.
in a certain region,
wrestling company.
in the wrong weight class, in some sort of wrestling company.
Yes, he's
PWA.
PWA Regional Heavyweight Champion.
That's right. So let's talk about this Saturday for PWA at the 8th Street Gym, 1401 North 8th Street in Springfield, Illinois. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it. Adults are $12. Kids 6 to 12 are $10. Kids 5 and under are always free. Doors open 6:30 p.m. Showtime 7 o'clock p.m. It's going to be a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen, because... well, the last show we had a few guys join together and create this faction that so far seems unstoppable.
And is intent on having Stephanie King be the next president of the company.
Oh yeah, Tom Arson came out and ran his mouth. Yeah, he's the former regional champion.
Arson, Jackson, and Attitude Inc.
Former New Midwest Wrestling heavyweight champion. Tom Arson has done just about everything there is to do in Springfield. Tom Arson said, "Hey, Stephanie, I want you to be the president." Attitude Inc. said, "Ego, even bigger." And so, basically, Attitude Inc., which, of course, Guy Smith and Spencer Powers, two former multiple-time heavyweight champions in their own right, tag team champions now, former New Midwest tag team champions, came out with Stephanie King, who's managed the likes of for everyone from like John Magnus to even Attitude Inc., of course. Stephanie King says, "All right, listen, I am everything that this company needs. As Tom Arson put it, honest, loyal, trustworthy, and judicious, if judicious is even a word, but judicious.
I thought he said judicious.
I think he said judicious, either way.
I want to throw this out there since, they submitted Stephanie King to be president of PWA. I'll throw my name in the...
I know that Priest.
Fair.
I know Priest is out
Priest,
there.
yeah.
I think Billy Alexander's been rallying.
I'm not sure that putting Stephanie King would be the best thing because we already got rid of one corrupt president.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need another.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I know there are certain people that are freaking out because they didn't get to vote on President Archie, and they're very intent on voting on the next authority figure. If we even need one, really. I don't know if we even need one. We may need one now to look at Stephanie King and say, listen up, you're nothing more than an egotistical maniac who's a manager for some tag team champions.
I'm not watching. Never know if they're listening. They might come and rough
Yeah,
it up a little
I don't know
bit.
if they watch this.
Did I say egotistical? I said skilled manager that I look up to because I'm a manager in my own right elsewhere. Anyway, but yeah, these 5 people, and then there's Casey Jackson, the 3-time regional heavyweight champion, who this Saturday hopes to make it 4 times, as he has come out on Facebook and everywhere else. He's come to the board of directors and got in our faces quite literally about it and said, listen, I want a rematch for the regional heavyweight championship, and I'll give it to him. He still owed the rematch from Spectacle. He still owed the match from winning Brawltoberfest. He is demanding Jake Lander show up at the 8th Street Gym this Saturday. And I don't know what he plans to do if Jake Lander doesn't show up. He doesn't have the power to strip him of the title. Stephanie King's not actually the president.
But they may be a little delusional enough to actually say, you know what, we're stripping him of the title.
I'd like to see that happen.
I would too. I don't think it would happen because, as you mentioned, they really have no power.
I mean, there's a board of directors that has to overcome that, right? I mean, I don't want to find out.
I don't want to.
I feel like that's going to be a whole mess in itself. So just for that fact, Jake Lander, humor Casey Jackson, please.
Yeah, just smack him around a little.
I mean, you beat the hell out of him in May. Do it again. I mean, it didn't seem that hard. Either way, Casey Jackson has said, I want my match. My rematch. And my match because I'm the #1 contender. Just give it to me. Or there's going to be hell to pay. Also this Saturday, however, women's related this time, Sierra will be returning. She was seen facing Harley back in September before Shauna Reed cost Harley the match by disqualification. Shauna Reed attacked Sierra. Only so Harley would lose. And Sierra said, you know what? I'm coming back. And I don't know who she's facing. But she's going to be there. And I think she wants to cause some hell as well. And of course, back, it seems like all we can talk about is this new faction. You've got Attitude Inc. defending the Tag Team Championship. I made it official at the end of 'Twas the Fight Before Christmas. They must defend their tag titles this Saturday against Jimmy Carrot and Truck Thompson. And I think it's going to be a hell of a match because Jimmy Carrot, of course, wants his hands on Attitude Inc. because Attitude Inc. cost him his match against Casey Jackson in December. And Truck Thompson, well, he used to be aligned with Casey Jackson. And when then President Archie went turncoat on Truck Thompson got very pissed off. And you don't want to piss Truck Thompson off.
Ding.
Ding. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want to make Truck mad,
Me neither. That's why when I go up to Truck Thompson at a show, I say, hello, sir. May I have a handshake, please?
Sorry, sir. May I have another?
But no, that's about all I've got. If anyone else has anything to add.
I think we could probably wrap this one up tonight.
Actually, I do have one other thing I completely forgot to cover. This. It was announced this week also. Actually, everything was pretty much confirmed today that during WrestleMania weekend, the Bullet Club is throwing a block party.
Ooh.
Now, does this sound familiar?
It does. It really does. Because you remember what happened last time wrestlers threw a block party?
Uh-huh.
We got a Hardy Boys debut.
Right before the surprise reappearance of the Hardys.
Anyway, they're having a...
Let me guess, this party is at the same place where WrestleMania is going to be this year.
Actually, 4 miles from the venue for WrestleMania.
Wow.
Who could have thought it?
They're going to have 2 levels of tickets for sale for this event.
Just word to WWE officials to keep it secret. Park further away from the park this time. Just saying.
Well, with your paid admission to this block party, if you are 21 and over, there is a premium open bar.
Damn.
Top shelf. And...
Top price.
$150. Anyway, and a free buffet from Jimmy's Famous Seafood. DJ Z from Impact Wrestling will be there spinning tunes. And they're going to have a shuttle from their party to the venue for WrestleMania and then back. So that way, if you want to go to this party and get belligerent and drunk, you can still get to the venue safely, not have to drive. It gives you time to sober up a little after the show. Thinking, with the safety in mind. Plus, they're going to have meet and greets with all of the members of the Bullet Club. Plus a few surprise guests, which they have not announced yet. They're probably going to keep that a surprise.
Chris Jericho.
No. I think it's going to be probably ex-Bullet Club members that might happen to be in the area at the time.
Not signed by WWE, by the way.
Or signed by WWE.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Gallows and Anderson and AJ
Finn Balor
showed up.
That's what I was thinking,
but yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I've got.
I think we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. We'll cut this one a little short
tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Sleeper Hold, where, of course, as always, there are no disqualifications on the topics and falls count anywhere. For the Kluganator and the Insider, Eric Zeidler, I've been the Analyst, Robert Leach. And we'll see you next week. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.